What's up, everyone? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Komaris, and as you can see by the title, today I have a few words for Parkwood Entertainment. And for any reason you don't know who Parkwood Entertainment is, Parkwood Entertainment Company is Beyonce's production, management, and obviously her entertainment company. And recently I attended the Cowboy Carter tour, and Parkwood was pretty much the ones behind the production of this tour. And I have a few questions for them. Like, after being there, seeing Beyonce live, you would think, for the first time at least, you would think that my focus would be mainly on her, knowing who she is and how talented she is and how great of a show she puts on. But my focus was definitely on her, but not only solely on her. I was also very amazed by the production and how a lot of the things that we see like come through on our timelines, and when you experience in real life, like her vocals in real life, it's truly like mind shifting. But also, like, the production itself is like very mind shifting too, because before going to the show I would see things online and like see how things were, well, not how things were happening, but I would see other things that were happening. But being there would like help me see like how a lot of things were happening, and also help me like come up with a lot more questions about things that were going on, and just wondering like, how was that done? Like, I'm literally sitting right here and I don't know how y'all are doing this. So in this video I'm going to have about 10 questions that I'm going to be asking Parkwood Entertainment that are actually inspired by the video that I made on Instagram and TikTok that's currently up to almost 500k views across both platforms together combined. Basically me showcasing all the things that I got distracted by while focusing on the production. And within this, I am gonna give some possible answers and some actual answers, because this video has been getting some really great reach, and it has been reaching like people who actually have the answers. But we'll get into that more in the video. But yeah, I have about 10 questions again, and I'm gonna list them out, and I'm gonna give some possible answers to them, and also leave room for you all to also answer as well. But first I want to get into me and my background and why I became like so distracted by the production and why it all overall matters to me. So I'm a recent, well, almost 2 years ago, I graduated from the University of Southern Mississippi with a Bachelor of Science in Media and Entertainment Arts, specified in Video Arts. And throughout this time of me being a student there, I took a few production classes: advanced post-production, intro to video production, dance production, which was an elective that I chose on my own, and even multi-cam production, which was my favorite. And although these classes like gave me an experience of what it's like to work on a production, I don't really believe that it gave me truly like the masterclass experience that I experienced while going to this Beyonce concert. Granted, my school isn't a film school, so a lot of things weren't like available to us to be able to get into the work of things. Like, a lot of it was just us sitting and learning from the board and lectures. Multicam was the most hands-on in my opinion, because I actually even got to like operate the cameras and also serve as the director for our final project grade, which I really loved, and it helped me realize how much I was in love with production, and just being able to like have a whole overlook of everything that is going on, and being able to like be the hawk and also, you know, see what why this is important, why you need to do this, why you need to do that, and just making sure everything is in line and intact. Maybe it's the control freak of me that loves production, but I just really love it. Although I don't do this full time for my career, unfortunately, I do things on the side that keeps my creative brain flowing. I spend a lot of time with Alexis Noble. She's the curator of the Vibe Art Studio in Jackson, Mississippi, and she has been helping me a lot with like working on projects for artists, and also like doing a lot of set design and helping me tap into like reviews and just getting into like speaking on certain topics again when it comes to art. And that has been something that has been keeping me going while I eventually get to a place where I can work full time in this field. In Mississippi, I haven't really been finding any jobs that want to hire me and that are pretty much offering like truly like a production type of thing full time with that's outside of, you know, like broadcast journalism and all of that, news. I'm not into that. I want to do something more creative and fun, and that's just not it. But I've still applied to those and nothing. Oh, also my capstone was something that I really loved. I was in a group and we did a documentary titled Tone by Tunes, and it's basically a documentary about how music affects athletic performance, and also like showcasing how even like band people that are in band are athletes, and even like people that play football, basketball, and every other sport that you could think of, like they use music to affect their athletic performance and enhance it. And with that, we had the opportunity to talk to someone across the pond who is a specialist in music therapy, Dr. Costas Karagiorgis. And it was really like a fun experience. Like I love the feeling of, you know, grinding to make everything happen, and also just sitting and waiting for things to connect, because a lot of the times you can be very intentional about like how you want something to go. And you know, in some ways God, I'm always going to say that it's God, he's going to rewrite the entire story the way that it should be wrote, and everything is going to mentally click to you. And you really just need to sit with the idea and let life happen, and sometimes wait for God to speak to you for the vision to truly come to light in its best version. And again, I wanted to make this video because of the response that I've been getting from the short reel TikTok that I made showcasing all the things that caught my attention at the concert. And I've been getting so many great responses that I actually wasn't like really intending on people to actually answer me. But I have been, because of the reach, like I have been reaching some people that really know what they're talking about, apparently. And also even some people that allegedly have worked on the set. So yeah. Now I'm gonna get into my questions and observances. Question 1. What exactly is the footage captured on the rotating camera used for? And I said that it seems to be getting the audience reactions too, not just only recording everything that's on stage, but I'm unsure if it was ever used to capture the footage for the main screen. Again, a lot of things were happening. The cameras that was rotating, they were pretty much just stand still, and sometimes it'd be there and sometimes it wouldn't be there. I believe they just stick it there and then they move it to somewhere else, stick it somewhere else. But it'll happen so quickly you don't even see nobody come pick it up. But yeah. I don't recall if any of that footage was like on the main screen, because you know, also sometimes like when you're in the moment, you're looking at her and just going like, wow, oh my gosh, she's really a real person, and everything that's going on, and just watching the whole flow of the show. And then you look up at the monitor. Like, the only time you really look up at the monitor is when she's farther away, out of my proximity, the way that I can see, because I can't see far away. I can only see up close. They claim that what is capturing the videos that get posted on the TikTok at Just My Beyonce Videos, that's what that rotating camera is for, and that's why it looks like it's literally on stage, because it is on stage. And why would they need that? I don't know, but that's what everyone is saying. Like, they believe that that camera is for that specific TikTok channel. 2, how is she not choking from the smoke and the pyros? And I don't really like have an answer for this. Not a real answer, not a possible answer. I only can think that it's superpowers. Because me personally, when they walked through with the smoke, it smelled so bad, and it literally had me like, I'm surprised I didn't start sneezing. I just don't know like how she was able to deal with all that, like being on stage and singing, belting the way that she does. But I did remember, well, I didn't. Someone reminded me in the comments of during Renaissance, she had bronchitis that was pretty much caused by the pyros and smoke that were happening during the Renaissance. And which is interesting because, you know, even while dealing with that, her vocals were still top tier. But yeah, and it didn't make her stray away from using them this tour. So it just goes to show like how serious she is about her craft, and if she has a vision and it requires something, she has to have it. Is the camera held by Darius fully functional or not? At first I was like, I don't know if this camera is functional, because I don't know if I saw anything on the back of it. And also the camera is a what they said, it was Super 8. I should know this, but yeah. The camera is a Super 8, but it's the first time that I've seen one of those cameras actually have like a viewfinder on the back, because, you know, it's a retro camera and they don't really like have all that. You pretty much just film what you film on film, and then it shows up. But that seems to be like a more digital one. And apparently people that actually paid attention to him and the monitor said that his footage, the footage that he was capturing, was most definitely showing up on the main screen. So yeah, apparently the camera is fully functional as stated by Elise on Paper on Instagram. Question 4. Are the wristbands, tracking camera, and robot arms manually cued or programmed to go off at certain times? With the wristbands, I got my answer from the actual company that worked on this with Beyonce, and the company is Pixmob. And they told me that they are basically remotely controlled, and they are controlled by transmitters. They use the transmitters to control them, and this what helps them like match what's happening on stage. So they are cued manually, obviously, to happen at certain times, based on what's going on the stage. So apparently with the tracking camera, the one that was on the zip line, tracking back and forth, left and right, obviously it's programmed. The only thing that's programmed is the way that it goes left to right. And they pretty much use a functional button to tell it to go left, tell it to go right. But when it comes to like the turning and all of that, that is manual. That is done. Well, that's manual too. Yeah. When it comes to the camera like turning and also going left to right, that's obviously manual. But it knowing to go left to right is a program function. And it's pretty much the only choices it has to go left and right. The robot arms, Kalia Lachey on Instagram claimed it to be programmed based on how she reacted to the arms in the earlier part of the tour, when she basically like feared being hit by the arms because they didn't give her a stage marking for like where she should stand in between the arms. And that's also something that I didn't see. Like a lot of the stage markings, I tried looking, but I didn't see any like stage markers. But I was wondering, like, how did they know where to put this stuff on stage exactly? And it just made me assume that they practice so much that they pretty much know based off like directions given during practice that this is how far this should go, and they pretty much use their instincts to be like, okay, this is where this goes. Because in some ways stage markings with the X's and all that can be tacky, but with her stage literally being lit up and a screen itself, I felt that maybe there was like markings, unnoticeable markings that we just didn't pick up on. Also with the robot arms, looking back at the footage, I realized that you literally can see them flipping a switch to turn the robot arms on. So after it turns on, after that, the work is then pretty much programmed. And Susie on TikTok has claimed that you can't remote control anything with that many joints, which actually makes sense because like there would be a lot to control, and then you have to use different functions and all this at once, and there's only so much that you can do with 2 hands, and someone else would have to be with you to operate those other parts too, which would also, I feel like that would be so much of a hassle to know, like to try to be side by side and be like, okay, we cue this then, we cue this now, we move this, press this button then, press this button now. It's given very much, you know, Fire Boy, Water Girl. Very difficult to do, but it's possible, but also extremely difficult and could very much cause some harm, and we don't want no harm caused on Beyonce. Question 5. What makes the horseshoe safer than the car? And this is a physics question I learned, and they said that it's basically because Beyonce is the center of gravity, and it makes it easier for her to be centered in the middle and makes her weight easier to be evenly balanced. And basically the horseshoe only has 2 points that she is attached to in the air, and the car had 4 points, and they were more spread out. So even though they were evenly spread out, it was more distance, and made it even harder for her to like have her weight evenly distributed, because you know, getting in the car, even when sitting in the middle and singing, like sometimes she'll kind of sway this way, sway that way, and that's pretty much why the car started leaning. But Houston night 1, which I'm glad I wasn't there because that would have been very traumatizing, but the way that her team handled that, I also insert my thoughts on that in here as well. But yeah, the way the team handled that was very great. And also the way that Beyonce handled that was very great. But here's the video that really shows like my in-depth thoughts on that moment. Did anyone else notice that even before asking for help, Beyonce made sure that she finished everything before the second verse of the song? And to me, like, it just really shows like her showmanship, because you know, going into that second verse is like a whole nother part of the song, and it introduces you into more things, new things. And she wanted to make sure she finished what she was already on and working with before she went into something new, because within the first verse and the choruses before the second verse, it gave her team more than enough time to be like, okay, we see her, we're trying to fix the problem. I'm pretty sure they were already working on it. But this one, she was like, hey, I'm panicking now. Okay, I'm finished with that. Now, I really need y'all to hurry up and come get me. Question 6, I asked, do the LED lights on the dress and stage produce warmth? And I had someone like get smart and be like, LED lights don't produce heat, LOL. And I hate when people use LOL because you being sarcastic. Ain't nothing funny. You just trying to be. But yeah, I actually got a real answer, and there was like, yeah, they do produce a little warmth, the stage and the dress itself, and which is why I feel like the dress has like some kind of like fireproof covering, even though it's probably not possible. Well, it's never not possible. There always a 0.1% chance of something, happening. But I feel like there's something like up under it to like make sure, like if there was one light to blow or a series of lights to blow out, or get so warm that it produces a fire, that she won't like get burned from it. And also, like, if you ever had LED lights during Christmas on your Christmas tree, you know how hot them lights get just from being on for like 10-15 minutes. Like, it gets hot. My ring light itself is hot. Anything that produces light produces some kind of warmth, no matter if it's a small LED light or what. Anything that produces light produces warmth, and I don't care what anyone says. Even our phones, they're not all the way LED. I believe they're like OCED or something like that, but even they produce warmth. Like, I feel like when there's light, it's inevitable for you to have some heat. That's why computer rooms are very cold and studios are very cold, because equipment runs hot because of the LEDs. But yeah. Question 7. What was the molding process like for the Renaissance intro robot suit? And this was the most like very dope thing from the Renaissance era. Her entrance suit, for when she like goes into like I'm That Girl. Yeah, she has this suit where she's like in a mold of herself, and it's like her night suit, and it just reveals her piece by piece by piece. And we learned during the Renaissance film that was actually, it was manually controlled. Like, they press each latch to, like unlock, and reveal herself. I'm just really thankful that we got a Renaissance moment. As someone who didn't attend the Renaissance, I really, because of college actually, I really felt so bad and miserable, because I was literally in school watching this happen, and I was at work when the first show happened, in tears, and I just really wish I could have went. But she did so much to like make it possible for us to experience that era as if we even went there. Like, the film itself and all the engagement on the internet and stuff, it made it very possible for us to still get the experience of us basically being there, even though we weren't. But yeah, very dope. I love Renaissance era so much. And yeah, I'm very thankful that she included a section solely for the Renaissance. And maybe in the next era, there'll be a section for Renaissance and Cowboy Carter. But for the molding process, I didn't really get an answer for that. But I'm still wondering like what that was about and what that was like. And I also didn't like really look into if that was the same mold suit from the Renaissance show. I believe that it was a different one. But I also wonder like where do they store that type of stuff after, you know, the tour is over. Because me personally, I would never want to let that stuff go. I would always want to keep my hands on that. Just to like, I would have it at my house. Just to look at it every other day. And it also makes me like wonder with like all her tours, like does she keep all the gadgets, the suits and stuff like that? Does she keep up with that? Or does it just get used for other things or other artists? Question 8. Would you recommend attending the show multiple times in different seating areas? This is a question specifically for those that are like interested in production. And many people actually talk about how they attended at different levels and in different sections and say how it all gave them like different experiences. And just from seeing like on the timeline myself, I was in the 100s in Houston at NRG Stadium, and I was more so to her right side, and I was closer to the stage, and I feel like that was a good seat because the stage is very long. So like having a production based seat, which is more so like within like the center of the stage, which I would prefer, I would have felt further away from her, but I would have had a very great view of the screen, because where I was, I couldn't really like pay attention to the screen, which is why I didn't really like know like was this on screen or not, because I couldn't really see the screen, although we had like a little miniature one on the side because they knew we wouldn't be able to like fully see the full screen. But I feel like in every section she gave you something to have special, and also something for you to miss out on that another area will have. Like they even talk about like how bad nosebleed seats are and things of that nature, but they really got to see like a full glimpse of the truly production, because I didn't know until after my show that the stage was a screen itself. So yeah, that was very dope and beautiful. I thought the screen only lit up when she sung Daughter, and yeah, I wish I could have seen it multiple times. Praying that God blesses me to do this with the next era, because as someone interested in production, I definitely will be going to more Beyonce concerts, and I will be dissecting them the way that I did this one. This is really and truly a production masterclass. Not only is she a great teacher, but Parkwood themselves are very great teachers. Like just watching and witnessing like everyone's spatial awareness, and even like the dancers communicating with the camera operators and things of that nature. Like Darius being given a camera and passing the camera back, like that's so dope. Like this is otherworldly, an otherworldly experience that I would truly love to experience again, and I will. Question 9. Will there be a Cowboy Carter film? And I feel like it's only right. And you know, like after having the Renaissance film and experiencing that in college, that definitely like put the icing on the cake for me and helped me like get over my fear of missing out on the concert, because I got to see the film. And the film was almost like 2 hours, I believe. The first night that it dropped, I actually went to go see it. And tell me why my theater didn't have it.
Did she walk in behind me? And you still had me standing here for 10 minutes? No. Is that true? I'm going to make sure I give your boss a video of all of this, because I think it's trifling.
They didn't have the full file of the film. So we ended up missing out on that, thankfully, because they didn't have the cup that I have from the show. So I guess a win is a win. So I ended up going to a different theater, and they had it. And they also had the full film, and they also had a better seating experience. So I would love to like experience that again, because it was dope. And I just really am seriously intrigued with the production of this show. And since I went there, and I'll have this video where I talk about all my questions for it, I feel like it'll be only right for me to like see all the answers come from the people who actually worked on this project. And yeah, we had someone on TikTok by the @CCXChristian, and allegedly he claims that they were filming for HBO there, and they even had cameras with cranes on set for Las Vegas Night 2, something that they haven't really like done at any other show. There was a lot more cameras present, a lot more production present, he claims. And all I gotta say is I'm praying that we get that film. And question 10, the question we all would pretty much say yes to, I assume, is, can I come to rehearsals for Act 3? I mean, I don't have to do... I could just shadow. I could be an assistant. I don't care. I just want to be in the room. I just want to be in the room. I just want to learn. I just want to be a student and just see how all of this is done. And just be in awe and learn. Just let me know in advance when you're ready for me, so I can let my job know that I'm gone. Yeah, all I can really say after that is just let me know. Because, you know, like I said, in my school, I didn't feel like we were pretty much prepared for the things that I'm actually interested in. We was pretty much prepared for TV and live television and filming music videos, or just passion projects and things of that nature. I don't know. I just don't feel like they prepared us, really. It was a lot of just sitting there lecturing. And a lot of that has to do with me as well. So I can't just blame the school, because I didn't go out and try to make things, create things on my own based off what I learned in the class outside of my capstone. So, yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to say, well, that's all that I have for this video. I just wanted to give thanks to everyone for the response that I've been getting on my Cowboy Carter related content. I'm thankful that other people had my view on, you know, like being very intrigued by production and just really like loving the attention to detail. Like, I feel like Beyonce would want us to be obsessed with the production of the show just as well as her, because she puts a lot of thought into that as well, and she puts together a team that can help like bring all these visions to life. And you know, this stuff is there for us to like see and witness and, you know, like appreciate. But yeah, I'm grateful for the love that I've been getting and the actual conversation that I have started about the production of the Parkwood entertainment, which they have always been doing a great job. But as it pertains to the Cowboy Carter concert, I feel like I've really pushed for a conversation about the production side of this show. And although Cowboy Carter tour is over, the era is not over just yet until we get that film and until Act 3 is announced. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next video. Oh, also, I forgot to mention this. Someone told me that there's a show called Abstract on Netflix. And on season 1, episode 2, you get to see them talk about like Beyonce's production, and for what exactly, I don't know. I haven't really got a chance to look, but someone commented and told me that I should check this out. I don't really know like the full details on that, but it's Beyonce related. Check it out. All right, bye.